Sorry, that was weird. I had to stop it and get back to it. Something happened with the video, froze. Okay. Yeah. So when we all hung out, not only were we young to begin with, because my mom's a young mom, her mom was a young mom, but we all even looked younger than what we were. So it was like when we walked around, anywhere we went, it was like my grandmother was the mom, and my mom was my sister, and it was just so cool. I mean, it has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, so I don't know. I just went off. Sorry. I gotta feed the cat. Hold on. Did you guys feed Milo? Oh, I fed him, right? Okay, you wanna go out? What? What? I can't hear you. Yeah. Come on, I gotta hurry and finish this. What? You finished? You done? All right, wait, I'm recording right now. All right, so wait till mommy comes home. Dude, I'm recording. I'm almost done. All right, see? You get to see the beautiful things that happen to me while I'm trying to record. Now, where was I? All right, so anyway, that happened to me as far as what I saw. Not long after, maybe days after, my mom had that happen to her. And then not long after her incident, something happened to my grandmother. And what happened to my grandmother was the craziest out of everyone's story. So you're really going to want to fasten your seatbelts with this one. Now, I don't know how YouTube is when it comes to these type of things, because I hear people getting I'm not monetized, obviously. I just started, but what I'm saying is that when it comes to real life stories, I mean, this is a disturbing story, to say the least. So if you have kids around, you might want to tell them, oh, he's just playing around, or whatever you want to do. Maybe not even listen to the, maybe you're saying a Halloween scary story, or maybe not even listen at all. Only because what I'm about to tell you is true. It really happened. I mean, I'll take a lie detector test. I'll have my grandmother submit a lie detector test. I never told anybody these stories. I'm not doing this for clicks, and I'm not doing it to make money. If that was the case, these things happened in the 80s. No, what am I talking about? I was born in 74. If I was 2, 3, 4 years old, that was in the 70s, the late 70s. So if we haven't gone public and try to make money off of it, and God rest my grandmother's soul, I mean, she's literally, and I hate to say this, she's gonna pass any day because of how old she is. You know what I mean? Like she's at that age. But we never ever told anybody our stories. Nobody. I mean, people that we know, but this is not for clicks. This is not for, money. Not at all. This is for me to raise awareness and let people know that we're at a different time period in this lifetime. And believe me, the alarm bells are going off. And if people don't see the signs by now, they will. They will. And I'm sure, I mean, there's people that are atheists that I know that are literally coming out saying, dude, I don't believe in none of that stuff, but come on, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that, even atheists are like, maybe I should start believing in this God thing. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to say that, but let me get into my story before I'll be here for forever. Okay, so not long after our incidences, now mind you, like I said, where my grandma lives is only like a couple blocks away from where we live. So this is all in the same area at the same time. At the time, she was working at a neighborhood bar that was literally down a block from her house. And where we lived in Corona, Queens in the 70s, everybody knew everyone, and that's why you were able to sleep. I remember back then, my grandmother did not have a lock. Not that she left it unlocked. Her door never had a lock. It was like from like the 1800s. And I'm not even joking. She was the last person in New York City. And I'm not just saying that everybody said that she needs to get a lock because times are different in the 80s. But back then in the 70s, She never had a lock on the door. It was an old school thing. You pull it open and that's it. There was no deadbolts. I mean, that drives me insane when I think about that. Nor did she even care that times were getting rough and that it was time to have locks. Didn't care. She never had one. Why did I bring that up? I have no idea. But there was something I was trying to... I lost track. But anyway. No, that's what it was. Back then, you didn't have to worry about nothing when it came to violence, robbery. Everybody knew each other. You didn't get out of line in Corona, Queens in the 70s. I'm sure there's some people out there watching this video that knows exactly what I'm talking about. And when you're Italian in that neighborhood, you didn't want to mess around. So all of my family lived there. That was my whole entire family, cousins, uncles, brothers, sisters, married people. We're all from that neighborhood. And again, it was the safest neighborhood to be in. We never had any problems, ever. Okay, so also, being that she worked at the local bar, she knew everybody, even though it's New York City. But at that time, you had your regulars that went there, and it was always the same people all the time. It's like going to a bar in like down south, one of those local bars that there's only like 4 or 5 people, but it's always the same people. And once there's one outsider, they're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Believe it or not, even in New York City around that time, if there was an outsider, they would be able to stick out like a sore thumb. And this particular night that she was working, there was absolutely somebody that stuck out like a sore thumb. It was a man that came there by himself. Seemed like a normal night. He got drinks, hung out. My grandmother said it was a little strange that a man of his demeanor would be by himself. But, sometimes people have problems with their wives. And, there's many reasons why people go out by themselves, whatever. But my grandmother said that what was a little strange about him is the fact that there were other barmaids there. Other bartenders, there were other, there was many other people serving drinks, doing things, and he was adamant about getting all the drinks from my grandmother, which is, again, it's not really that abnormal, because you want a tip, you want a relationship, but, you know what I mean, like, you just, sometimes they that's the reason why they would put women in those jobs, like a shop girl, they want to talk to the pretty women and get more money and drink and talk, and so again, that was nature of the business, right? But she felt that it was just a little strange the way he was doing it. Wasn't the normal, oh, I just want to go to the bar, get drunk. Here's this, it's funny because my grandmother's an Italian, but she was a blonde her whole life. And she always had blonde hair, and it's funny, she was like the most rarest person in New York City, in Corona, because everybody had brown hair and brown eyes. It's Italian. We're all dark, and here's this blonde, one of the rare. So that was what's funny too, and it wasn't like, oh, here's this guy that wants to drink and hang out and stare at some hot blonde or whatever, and listen to music. It was like he was there with a purpose. You know what I mean? Everybody else, it's like, one of those things where it's like in a movie. It really is like in a movie. You have people that are there hanging out, listening to music, and everybody fits in. And did you ever notice, like in the movie, that one person that just doesn't fit? You know what I mean? It seems like they're not there listening to music. They're not there to drink. Then they just seem like there's they're there for another reason. Now, my grandmother, of course, is from the streets. And anybody that knows that time frame, that area, organized crime was rampant. The mafia owned that entire neighborhood. It was never a secret. You know what I mean? So now my mom is starting to get like a little worried, like, okay, well, maybe, this is some type of retaliation, whatever the case may be. But she knew that it was definitely something not right about this guy. And although he never disrespected, he didn't say anything to like really be. It was just his demeanor, and her street smarts kicked in and said, "Look, I got to pay attention to this guy. There's something not right about him." So, make a long story short. Now the night's getting late. People are starting to go home. Less and less people, and he's still there, drinking up, hanging out, just chilling, you know. And now, of course, being, you know, my grandmother, my family, you know, if there's something like that you know, rings the alarm, all you got to do is reach out to one person, and believe me, they'll get handled. That situation will have no problem fixing itself, if you know what I mean. So, you know, my grandmother tells the appropriate people, they go and pay him a visit, and just kindly give him a friendly welcoming, you know, into the neighborhood, and just, you know, giving him some pointers of what to do, what not to do. You get it, you know. You I'm sure you've seen, you know, Goodfella movies and all that stuff, and to most people that was just a movie. But people that lived in that life in the 70s and 80s in New York City, that was actually real life stuff. So my grandmother was one of them. Not directly involved with it, but, you know, I mean, she's in the neighborhood and it's all around, so it's inevitable that it's going to, I don't know, affect or be around at some point. So anyway, you know, she was very well protected because of my grandfather. Her ex-husband, no, I'm sorry, ex-husband. I mean, her husband, he had died. Excuse me. He had died very, very early. I never met my grandfather. He died in his 20s because in my family we have a very, very rare kidney disease. So rare that we had someone that came out from Germany to do a history and all this testing and medical, not, you know, medical stuff that we went down basically in medical history, because we were literally the only, if I believe we were the only, I mean, that's how rare this was, family to have it. I think in America, I think they had a case in Italy, a case in Germany, you know what I mean, but very, very scattered. And I think we were the only ones that had that type of kidney disease in America. So we had this, anyway, the reason why I brought that up is just to give you a background of my family and things like that. And my grandfather ended up passing away from the kidney disease, and he was literally in his 20s, and that man was on his way to doing big things. He had he started with two pizza bus. He wound up getting pizzerias, and, you know, I mean, it was on. I mean, we would have been literally millionaires in no time. Unfortunately, unfortunately, when he passed away, you know, my grandmother took that hard, and she just went into party mode and never became serious with any man. In fact, I used to laugh at her because every single time I would hang out with her, she reminded me of like the most gangsterous gangster. Like picture like one of the rap girls, and like, you know, like MC Light, or even harder than that, like man, like I can't, Little Kim, like a Little Kim, you know, like she just had that aura about her, you know, but real gangster stuff, not the stuff that you just talk about on the radio and rapping about it. I mean, she was the real deal. That's why I just had me laughing, because her mentality of the way she was just insane, because her confidence mixed in with her street smarts, mixed in with who she was and who she knew, mixed in with, I guess, knowing that ever since my grandfather passed away at such an early age, it was like her mentality was like, dude, I'm just gonna get money and that's it. I'm not gonna be serious with anyone. You know, that was my husband, and I'm not gonna ever be serious with anyone else. And let me tell you, she stayed true to that, because she would treat these men so bad, bro. Like I used to even feel bad for them. I'm not gonna get into that because I don't want to waste too much more time, because I'm already pretty deep into this video. But man, let me tell you, it was fun hanging out with my grandmother and watching her just straight dug it out with these men, dude. Like nobody messed with her. Nobody. She She was a tough woman. So now this man is adamant about staying there until it closes. So, but the thing was, he never asked for her phone number. It wasn't like, the normal stalker either. It wasn't like, oh, where do you live? What's your number? Will you go out with me? It was more of like just being there. That's it, just being there. And not asking no questions, not being disrespectful, not trying to push up on her, not trying to touch her, nothing. Just weird, right? So the plan is that being that the place is closed at, the normal 4, I'm pretty sure it was like the 4 a.m. thing. What the owner of the bar did was, let's pull a fast one. Everyone knows that the place closes at 4. He seems like he wants to stay there till 4 because he actually said it. With time, he kept on asking, when does this place close? Because I want to stay here, as long as I can. And they said 4. However, the plan was at 3:30 to pull a switcheroo. So she would leave unannounced at 3:30 while everyone's still there, everything's still open, and there would be a replacement. So he wouldn't have no idea what happened. So 3:30 comes. She's out the door, gone. Everything's going according to plan. Now, she only lived a block away. She could have easily walked by 4 o'clock in the morning, even though, not too much crime in that case, being with the stalker thing, and, my grandmother didn't feel easy or whatever the case may be. She called a cab to just, bring it down the block. It's funny, but she just wanted somebody to make sure that she could, and then she would obviously give them a bigger tip to make sure that she got in safe and everything like that. Lo and behold, cab pulls up. Somebody's in the back seat. Now, usually in the city, when someone's in a cab, they're getting out while you're getting in. There's no double, there's no share a ride type of deal, So when the cab pulled up and she was getting in the car, why isn't this guy leaving? So now my grandma's just like, well, damn, this is a weird night tonight. She gets in the car. Lo and behold, I know you're going to think I'm lying. And I know you're going to think that this is like some movie. I saw this in some movie. And at the end, I'm going to say, I got you. It's a clickbait. No, this is, I swear to you, honest to God truth. From what she had told me. Okay? She turns around. Guess who's in the back seat? Yeah. Mr. Stalker is literally in the cab with her. And he says this. Oh, I figured I would pay for your ride home. Also, I was wondering, the reason, being that you're going home, I need a place to stay. Like, who the hell says this? I need a place to stay. And I figured, why not just take a ride with you? You were already going home. Now I can know, where you live, and hopefully there's room for me and I could be a roommate. Which is something you don't tell somebody at 4 o'clock in the morning when you first at 3 o'clock in the morning when that you met at a bar. That that whole thing just does not ever happen. That doesn't happen. And furthermore, you usually don't walk away alive telling that to somebody in those days, because you definitely seem not only like a stalker, but you're beyond stalkerish, because how the hell did you, none of this is adding up. And on top of it, again, there's still that alarm bell going off, as if maybe this is a outside family that heard something that wants to, retaliate somehow. These things happen. Innocent people just get taken advantage of because of whatever reason, and they had no idea why, or what, they didn't have anything coming to them. Come find out, just because she was the brother of, or the cousin of, or ex-husband of, now they want to send a message, and they used other people, innocent blood. However, my grandmother turns around, looks at him, and says, well, I kindly will not go and take a ride with you to my house. I do not want you to know where I live. There's no reason for you to be at my house. First of all, I don't even know who you are. The first time I met you was now, while you were drinking the whole night. You not one time ever introduced yourself. Not one time did we have a conversation. Furthermore, even if we did, I don't know you from a hole in the wall. I'm not going to let you into my house, let alone move in. Where in the world do you come from? Because you definitely don't come from New York City. Nobody acts and talks like you. So I'm very confused of who you are, what you want, and why you're asking to live with me if I don't even know who you are. Anyway, and the whole time calm, very calm, cool, relaxed. I got this type of, confident. Okay, well, he said something, right? But while he was talking, my grandmother realized when she looked at what he was wearing, it really freaked her out, because he's wearing these, like, I guess, weird yellow pants, like things that nobody wears, right? He had like a top coat that nobody wears that was weird. The pants itself were like a strange, material, yellow at that, like if he was in a carnival. And what really blew her mind is the fact that his shoes were like those shoes that they wear, like a jester, or like, I don't know, like in, what is that, Dublin, or Sweden, whatever. Those wooden shoes that have like that curl on the front, like sharp curl? He was wearing those shoes. That is absolutely not the way anyone ever dresses. Obviously not from New York City or anywhere that even anyone knew. So that was just really odd. Now she's like, this guy is just really, really odd to me. Listen, I don't mean to be mean to you, but let me tell you, if I have to say no a second time, this cab is not, first of all, we're not going anywhere. I'm getting out of this cab. And if I have to raise my voice, or if I have to get irate in any way, believe me, when I go back into that bar and the people know that my stalker that I've been trying to get away from happened to be in the cab, you might not leave alive. So take this cab to wherever you need to go, but never come back again, or else you're going to find out that you made the wrong decision. He says, okay, all right. So I forgot how, I think it winded up being that now everybody's on high alert. I think the cab left with him, and I think the owner of the club took my grandmother home. Lo and behold, my grandmother gets in the house, unlocks the door, does her normal routine, gets into a bedroom. Who's in the bedroom? Who's in her bedroom? You got it. Mr. Stalker. Now, of course, anybody with a sane mind would have freaked the F out. And my grandmother was just in total shock. The next thought that came to her mind was, okay, if he has access to where I live, if he knows where I live to begin with, and he got here before I did, then that means this is something that he's been planning for a while. This is it. I'm done. And that's the reason why he was so confident, because it had nothing to do with anything other than getting even somehow. And I'm sure it's now I'm going to be a victim of a rape and murder. This is the end of my life. This is it. I'm gone. And I'm staring the person that's going to take my life in the eyes right now. And all my grandmother thought about was, I'm going to fight like hell because nobody's taking me off this planet except for God. As soon as she had that, as soon as that thought went through her mind, his whole demeanor changed. He revealed himself. He was not a man. That was not a man. It was Satan. And this is not a joke. This is not me trying to say a scary story. In fact, those weird looking curl shoes that I was telling you about, he kicks them off. And the reason why the pants look weird and the shoes and everything, his attire looked weird, is because his bottom half was actually a goat. So it was like that character Pan, you know, half man, half goat, right? But he introduced himself as being the devil, and that he was there to take her to hell. Now, once he said that, that's when the horns started to start growing. His features started to come alive. Now he's starting to shape shift into who he really is. But my grandmother ain't having it. She's not going anywhere with anyone, let alone to hell. So now I think she said her grandmother, she always felt, I think that her grandmother that passed away was somebody in her side of the family. It was either her mom or her grandmother, someone that was always there for her, like a spiritual, when she was on earth, she was always like a spiritual guide, you know, had spiritual guidance for her. But when she passed away, she always felt like that was her guardian angel in heaven. And sure enough, it was, because then appears that woman on one side of him while he's shape-shifting. I mean, it was graphic, dude, disturbing. So I'm trying to be less disturbing as I possibly can, because, you know, when you're watching movies and all of that stuff, you know it's fake. It doesn't bother you. But when you hear these stories that you know are absolutely 100% real, it's a different type of, you know, thing. So anyway, his tongue is like coming out, like everything is just shape-shifting. And all she remembers how like he had this tongue that was just like getting longer, and like his face was getting like, it was just creeping her out. Like, could you imagine? But she just kept listening and focusing on her guardian angel, and she kept on saying, spit on him. Do it now. Spit on him in the name of Jesus. Rebuke him. Just spit on him. Get him out of here. Get him out of your life. Get him out. Get out. You know, you can do this. Get him away. You know, just like coaching her on.
It's 10 o'clock.
Nobody asked you. Is it really 10 o'clock already? Wow. I'm getting chills every time I tell the story. And she did exactly what was told. She spit, fought. This thing just disappeared. Like, as she's spitting, it was like acid on him, like burning him. It was like holy water was coming out of my grandmother's mouth every time she spit on him. And then it got to a point where, literally, like just like in a movie, his just inside just blew up. Not like stuff everywhere, but just like disappeared. His clothes literally dropped, and what was left was just his shoes, a top jacket, and the pants. After everything was said and done, everything went back to normal. You know, obviously, because of what she just been through, it was so dramatic. She had to just get out. I forgot, you know, what she did after that. She came back. Obviously, the clothes are gone. Any sign or any evidence that could have, you know, tied him, you know, the spirit, what she just been through, is gone. And the only proof that, you know, we have of that story is the actual people that my grandmother knows that saw him at that time, that can vouch that, you know. But, you know, my grandma was the only one in the house at the time with this thing. Now, based upon what I went through, now the only thing that was different with my story is that the being that I saw wasn't a half goat, it wasn't half goat and half demonic demon, human, whatever. This thing was half snake. You know, it was just a head, a black head with horns, and from the neck down was just a black snake. You know, like a black. I want to say like a black snake, but the devil is a shape shifter. He's a shapeshifter, so he could be anything. He could be a beautiful girl. He could be a car. He could be anything he wants. So why he came to me as a snake and then came to my grandmother as Pan, I don't know. Could it be that what I first saw was actually, you know, really the devil himself, because he was pitch black, and they say that the devil is a serpent, and maybe my grandmother saw one of his one of his cronies, one of his homies, or whatever, and because people say Pan is the devil, so it's kind of ironic how she saw a Pan version of the devil, and I saw the serpent version of the devil, and you know, what is the significance behind that? Because things happen for a reason. You know, that wasn't no reason. So is there a clue in that? You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I don't know. I have no idea. And thankfully, to this day, there's only been one more incident, and I'll obviously get into that as a testimony to the fact that I had an incident again with the bad boy, and this time, without getting too much into it, it was just spiritual. Heard his voice, knew he was there. I saw things, but when it came to him himself, I could not make out the details, and I'll just leave it at that. And I'll get into everything else. But yeah, man, let me tell you, for that to happen to me, then all that stuff, something happened. Like my mom heard that after, and then my grandmother experiencing that all in the same time period, and then never to happen again. Thanks to the grace of God, thanks to our protection, and because I think that's what did it, is just knowing that from that moment on, we got to stay close to God. I don't want to keep on going through those type of things. Who would want that to happen? But I know that those things happen for reasons. And I'm taking it as a positive. I'm taking it as, you know what? Now I have living proof testimony that I want to tell the world that nobody can ever. When I hear people say, oh, there's no such thing as God, could you imagine what, if you went through something like that, knowing that for a fact there's a God, for a fact there's the devil. You've been through it many times. It wasn't just like, one incident, and it could have been just this or it could have been just that. Well, it happened multiple times. And then you have people that are sitting here all across the world saying there's atheists that literally are adamant about knowing, like they're so into science and so into the world that they just know that it's impossible to have a being like that. It's impossible if it is that and the third. It really just messes with my head, because it's like, first of all, I got to end this video, dude. It's like a half hour. Oh my God. I can never do it. I can never just do 1, 2, 3. First of all, just to end on this, if there's an atheist watching this video and they're laughing at me right now, calling me crazy, or oh yeah, how many people are crazy? My grandmother's crazy. My mom's crazy. A 2-year-old is crazy. Like all of us are just crazy. We're just seeing these things. Like what do you want to call it? There's nothing that you could say that can explain that, because that's not where it ends either. I can go on and on, but furthermore, I always get them with this. It's a simple way to destroy an atheist. If 100% you believe that there's no God, then why is it that every Buddhist, every Muslim, every atheist, every person that does not believe in Jesus Christ will all agree on this one thing: that we currently live in the year 2021, without a doubt. Nobody could deny that fact. Everybody knows that this is the year 2021. You ask a Jewish person in America, what year is it? They'll say 2021. You ask an atheist, yeah, 2021. Every single person, non-believer, right? But then you ask them, well, why is it called the year 2021? What happened 2021 years ago? They don't even realize it's that simple, because God is so good at what he does that he literally puts it right in everyone's face to see for themselves that, man, you mean to tell me it's been like this for all of this time and no one ever sat there and said, you know what? I'm an atheist. I don't believe in Jesus. Stop saying it's the year 2021. Because if that was the case, if there really was no God, God would have never did it that way. I mean, in other words, it would have been like that. Somebody would eventually, at some point in these last 2021 years, say, you know what? I mean, look what they tear down statues, for Christ's sakes. They did so much change to our reality, but not one person, not one, ever thought about saying, let's change time. Let's stop calling it the year 2021, because you're giving homage, you're paying homage to Jesus. You're saying that there really was Jesus 2021 years ago. So it's ironic how Jesus, to many, many other cultures and other religions, is just a prophet, man. He's just a prophet. You know, we don't even know if he really rose from the grave. We don't even really know if he was crucified and he was this, he claiming the Son of God. He could have been just some deranged white guy, like the Black Israelites say that he could be. But if that was the case, then all of these clues and signs and things that, were left to resonate for all of these years would have never been. You really think God, or if there wasn't a God, or if there was a God, or the case may be, if that Jesus really wasn't who he was, you really think that he would have such an influence that he has today? And furthermore, do you think that even there still would be something that secretly, but at the same time openly, it's I can't even say it. It's like a what's that word? It's kind of like a oh God, I can't even think of it. Like a paradox, where you don't even realize that how simple and in your face it is, but at the same time complex and shouldn't be there if you say what you say is to be true. So that to me is like the ultimate troll. God is you. I mean, if you know God, you could agree with me that God is the ultimate troll, because he does things so sweet. He lets everybody, yeah, you want some rope? Yeah, take it. He gives everybody the rope. Yeah, no, longer rope. Yeah, longer rope. Go ahead. No, it's okay. Keep going. And then bam, when he tightens that rope up and there's no more rope left, and now you're sitting there hanging, you have no one else to blame but yourself. Because all of these things have been right in your face the whole time. And you want to keep on denying. And God, if you know God, does it in a way where he's like, all right, all I'm asking for you to do is, I'm going to play like a game of hide and go seek. I'm going to hide. You're going to know that I exist. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave you clues. All I ask is that while I'm hiding, you just have faith in me. And everything will be good. You will have eternal life. That's all I ask. While we're playing hide and go seek, just know that all I'm doing is hiding for a little while. But just remember, I'm really there. So don't sit here and forget and have amnesia and think that, oh, I don't exist. That's all I ask. And sure enough, as time went on, more and more people started having amnesia, and more people started getting, hammered by the devil. Because let's face it. I mean, the truth is that while God was playing hide and go seek and he's hiding, along goes the devil saying, man, he's hiding because he's about to die, or he's hiding because he doesn't want to come back. He's going somewhere else. There's no God. Forget God. I'm God. I mean, look at all of these clues, man. Like, Sometimes I feel like, dude, I am the biggest idiot in the world, dude. I'm telling you, if God gave me these eyes to see what I see, someone like me that is just, I'm like the dullest tool that you'll ever find in the shed. Trust me, you don't want to call me, what's that thing, phone in a friend or whatever, during that game and ask me anything, because I probably will mess it all up. But I'll tell you this much: when it comes to spiritual things and when it comes to God, boy, does He reveal so much to me. And that's why I need you to please subscribe, like this, and share it, because I want you to be a part of it. And I know 100% that there'll be something in my video that will be beneficial to you. I'm not here trying to scare people. That's not what this video is. I know it's disturbing. I know it's a very scary thing to think about. But the positive message in this whole thing, because I try to get it as everything positive and everything with a good meaning, to keep us on that righteous path, because we need fellowship. It's just to always remember, just because you don't see God or the devil doesn't mean they don't exist. And my computer's about to die. So that's a living testimony right there, that the same way you believe in God and God exists, so does the enemy, and so does the devil. So please do not underestimate the power of the devil. The Bible says it. The Bible says that he roams this earth, right? What does he do? The devil roams this earth like a roaring lion, ready to devour whoever he can. So the story that I just told you is absolutely backed by the Bible. But usually when people encounter that type of encounter, it's usually through, drugs, or through, something that's like the devil, like evil, and that will take you down and devour you that way. But not many people had it happen literally, where he literally showed up at your doorstep and said, dude, I'm coming to take you away. I don't know anybody else that happened to. So if you have any experiences like that, believe me, I would love to hear your story. If you want, I'll start putting out testimony videos. You can upload a video to me or get in contact me somehow, and I'll give you my platform to push out some of your testimonies, because this is what it's all about. It's all about getting the word out. It's all about letting the world know at this point. That's what I call this. We're at the danger zone level of end times. In other words, we're at the point where the trump of God had already taken place. So that was the warning with the instrument. We are now at the second phase, which is the final phase, the shout, the verbal. So what happens when someone used to want to announce things back in the days, right? That's how they did it. First, it's the trumpet.
It's 10:15.
The prince is here, and then they'll read off a thing. The prince of such and such has these demands, right? Isn't it? And they shouting. So it's the trumpet and then the shout. We already heard the trumpet. That was Trump Pence. That was the Trump administration telling the world. I don't know. I don't want to get too political, but I don't care about if you voted for this one, you voted for that one. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is this: God used Trump, and if you don't believe that, then oh well, that's on you. But He used Trump, and when he was in office, he did so many things behind closed doors on a spiritual level that it would blow your mind. But furthermore, on the surface, what did he do? He sent out a message through his style of ruling or being a leader. You don't have to give in to the globalists. You don't have to bow down to the beast system. In other words, we all know that the devil runs this world. But you also got to remember that God gave the devil that power. So who are you gonna be with? You're gonna be with God, the one that gave the devil the power to do what he does, or you're gonna be with the devil because you feel like he's the one that's in charge, when you're gonna see that that's not the case. Once this earth is gone, what are you gonna do? Once all of this is done, once everything rusts, like it says in the Bible, and it's time for you to see your Maker, what are you going to do when he knows that you went on the wrong side? Now that was the Trump, right? He sent out that alarm, and if you noticed, he sent out a I'm trying to keep this short, but it's so hard. It was like a domino effect. Every other leader and that was good. I want to say good. The good leaders, right? The good ones that are about sovereignty, that believe in it. Because that's so stupid that people always America first is racist. No, he's trying to just stand for sovereignty nations, meaning just your nation should be worried about your nation's things. We shouldn't be in everyone else's business. Same way, no one else should be in our business. Furthermore, he stands for everything that God would stand for if God was a leader. You know what I mean? Take accountability for your actions. You know, I mean, it goes on and on and on. And the best thing that happened out of the Trump administration that is still going on today, that many people may not know, I'm sure many do know, that that support him and are of God and on, you know, soldiers and chosen and ones that pray, and Christians. Most of us know that what Trump did before he left was send out a military mission to destroy every single stronghold that the enemy and their disgusting pedophiles have set up throughout the years underground, in these underground bases. Like the story with the poor kids that were getting flown from that one kindergarten right to Washington, with all these underground sex slave trade and all of these, you know, Jeffrey Epstein style islands and all of that. What happened? As soon as Trump came into office, no more Epsteins, no more pedophile islands, no more rings. Every one of those underground things are being destroyed one by one, thanks to the trumpet of God. Now, to end this video, which, jeez, what am I going to be, like an hour? Oh my God. We are now at the shout. This is an emergency. It's time to shout and let it all out. Jesus is coming. We all know that. And everyone says, yeah, soon, this, that, and the third. No, now we're at the final phase. This is like down to like now. If I had to speculate, because I don't like to speculate, I like to keep it what I feel God puts in my heart. But I honestly don't see, I feel we won't go past it. Jesus will absolutely be, Jesus will absolutely take his people off this planet probably anytime. From any time, literally like maybe tomorrow to up until like until 2025. That's what I believe. I believe by 2025, absolutely 100%, the rapture happened, and yeah, everybody will be with Jesus in the cloud. So I mean, that's a good thing. Anyhow, yeah, it's a pleasure making these videos for you guys. I try to keep them 11 minutes, but for God's sakes, I'm already at 48, and I don't edit, so I'm gonna upload, man. And hopefully, if you want to skip through, whatever the case may be, that's all right with me. But I'm sorry, you know, I really am trying to keep these things short. And if I'm rambling on and if I am taking up too much time, just leave that comment. I love constructive criticism. Believe me, I don't. Even the trolls, I don't care, you know. But if it really is adamant that I stick to a certain time or under a certain time, just let me know. And just say, hey, Kenny, look, you got good content. Just keep them at 11 minutes. You know what I mean? Or some people like, dude, you know, yeah, you have 48-minute video, but you know what? I was listening to every second of it. So, you know what? Just keep them. You know, I watch them. So we'll see. I don't like editing, so I'm just going to send it right out like this. I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Peace.